Or hey, did you have another question? I didn't know.
Ron did.
Yeah.
Oh,
The question was that if I understand it correctly, you're focusing on the immune system and conductivity as a priority. So my question is...
Home therapy-wise, yes.
Yes, home therapy-wise. So it's more important to, example, diet. Instead of changing diet first, maybe you want to get those things straightened out first, which you speak of, because diet won't have as much effect, or it will have more effect if you have those things straightened out first.
My assumption is, and I put it in here as additional things, my assumption is the moment you get a diagnosis or feel that you have, based upon this information here, where I started with it, diet is number one.
Right.
Diet is number one. Diet is number one.
Right.
The environment is number one. The
Right.
environment is number one. The environment is number one. And those two things precede all the rest of getting the conductance working, getting the rest of the things working. Because you might as well just be lighting matches to your money if you don't do those real critical things.
Right.
And they're the cheapest and easiest things to do.
Right.
You know, take the portable house phones and throw them out. Take them to Goodwill. Get a thing for it, turn it in on your income tax. You know, donation.
Right.
But get rid of all of those things in your life, and then spend the money on Larry come into your house to figure out what's going on in your environment. Don't rush out and buy. I met a patient recently. She said, I just spent $1,500 and I bought this netting for my bed. And I said, that's interesting. Well, what are you going to get rid of with it? She said, it's going to handle all my electronic problems. I said, no, sorry, it's not. It's going to handle a high frequency band from here to here, and that's it. It's actually going to make your electronics worse. So, have you heard about a barefoot thing for your bed? No, don't know about that. Do you know
Wait, do you like the barefoot thing for your bed?
I think it's a good thing, yeah. As long as you're able to check the ground outside.
Yeah.
And Larry didn't talk about it?
No.
Gone that little white-haired
Well,
man.
before he talks about it, I will tell you about Ron Patricione, who, right here, can we just give a little round of applause for being the Mr. Everything Man today with the camera off? Right, give me 6 this morning. Okay. Ron has arranged to have a study done with children on the spectrum, 30 of them in the Inland Empire, with the head of the mental health department there in Riverside County, I think. This is a guy who found the ranch. There are no addresses, no maps, no nothing. He brought us one of these things to utilize because he wanted to, you know, share it. But he's working really hard on this front, so tell him what you think about it.
So let me tell you one more thing on that, is that you want to do the barefoot thing about this patient that I was talking about. You want to do the barefoot thing, and also you want to get some real numbers so you know what your body voltage is in your bed, but you really need to know what ground is outside before you do it.
So you're really saying ground current varies?
Oh, absolutely
on
does.
contact.
Absolutely, yeah.
Repeat that, please.
What's that?
Repeat what you said, please.
Well, as I said, in New Hampshire, there were 10 volts running in the ground.
DC.
And Gary's nodding his head yes, too. I mean, yeah.
And so you have to be able to check that.
With all the lightning strikes, the Earth is constantly, you know, normalizing
Lightning strikes
itself.
is not the issue. Overloaded because we built out so rapidly and we're sending current out the houses, the ground takes it goes back to the place it was made.
The substation.
Yeah, the substation. And it uses the earth to do it. And if you happen to be out there sticking that thing in there thinking you're going to drain it out of your feet, you're not. You're going to get it in your feet.
Okay, let's be pragmatic about this for a second, because this has been the sticking point with his particular study. Couldn't he get like $100 tester and test where they're going to do the ground and just confirm that
That's
the ground?
exactly correct.
And that's it. That would be
Call
easy.
Larry and ask him exactly how to do it. And he's done thousands of them,
Okay.
and he'll tell you how to do it.
So for about $100 he can buy the machine, he learns it from Larry, and then each one of these kids that are in this study, they can confirm what the ground current is before they do it.
Right.
It'll take 5 minutes.
Two,
Now then
actually, two grounding rods.
Right, and then
with
what
a
you're going
wire
to see
in
if there's any
between.
current in between those
with a
two guys.
clamp
If it's-
meter.
Yeah, you clamp them and see if it's zero.
Right.
Now, the other thing that I asked her, I said, so what are you planning on getting rid of with this? You know, you're only going to get rid of a small segment of that of frequency,
band, right.
that small band with this
Netting.
And so there are other ways to get rid of more of that, like the Wi-Fi paint, and several of the other things, and getting the circuits in your house turned off, and infinite numbers of other things that will make a better space. Many of them we can control, except now that there's the end system Wi-Fi's that go 450 feet. They'll go through, they won't, they're slowed down by concrete and so forth, but they're not totally stopped.
So,
And do some before and after tests. If you're going to paint, get a couple of cardboard boxes, paint out a cardboard box with Wi-Fi blocking paint, and put a sensor inside and see if it zeroes out outside the box, so that you know what you're really doing, and get some pre and post measurements.
I just wanted to comment on the...
wait, we grab the mic, please, sir?
Oh, there you
That's
go.
Jorge's job.
Yeah,
He's just sort of.
Or
I just wanted to comment on the grounding thing.
Yes.
Not only do you have to test it once, but you have to test it many times.
Yeah.
And you have to test it over a period of time, because
High
often
usage
the
times.
plumbing of a home is typically grounded into the earth, okay, as it must be. And then people go on and they ground other appliances to the plumbing that's in the house. Now, that appliance may not be on when you test the ground, and it's dumping potential into that pipe that's connected to the ground, which would interrupt the neutrality of the earth at that point. So it is I am involved in this only from the corrosion standpoint
Hold the mic.
of piping.
Mm-hmm.
And that has revealed to me how complex an issue this is. It's not test it once, you know the facts of it. It's a dynamic situation determining the ground of the earth at any
At any
point.
given time, yeah.
And, having said this, at the same time, we went to lunch with Larry Gust, who you trust a lot, I think.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
He's kidding. That one little hair curling. And he was explaining to us that in his experience with the earthing grounding device, they've had almost universal positive results because of the electron donation, anti-inflammatory capacity.
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean,
Okay,
the
so
theory
that's
of it is correct. The
That's
theory is
that's
absolutely
the
correct.
benefit that
Yeah.
they're perceiving.
But I
then
think
the
that-
potential cost is this concern that we're talking about.
It's only a concern, it will only be a concern to you if you don't know about it. As soon as you know about it, then you just do this periodically to make sure things are good.
But I think what's going to happen is parents just aren't going to do this.
No,
I
it's-
mean, we take what might be a phenomenal tool from like what Larry's finding is in most of his clients, it works phenomenally well. I don't know. We have to figure this one out. Gary, maybe you.
I don't think there's a lot to figure out. I think basically it's that this is something that, if you buy a gas range, okay, you need to know that if you hold your hand over the gas, you're going to burn it. I mean, and all the good about the gas range is not going to be held back because you can burn yourself with it. And I think that's the same thing here, is that if you understand that there can be a potential problem with that you need to monitor, then there's no problem. It becomes a problem when you don't know it and you think you're doing something good and you're not.
Right.
And that's as simple as it is.
And I really think what we're trying to understand then is when we try something and we help, say, 8 or 9 out of 10, we always learn more from the one we didn't help.
Which is always my kid, probably yours too.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with recognizing the limitation of any technology.
Yeah.
And when you also say that the kids that are going to do well with it, you're going to see that, and if they do negatively with it, you'll see that, or no?
Well, I don't think it's that clear cut. I think a lot of times I get emails, that's why I said, I gave you some glowing reports. I didn't show you the ones where the patient said, the kid's going crazy, so forth, so on. And I email back and I say, yeah, I understand he's going crazy, he's going through something. Out the other side of this, he's going to be better. And then they email back in a couple of days and say, yeah, he's better. That he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And then, and I had a patient in Texas, and she was one day, she said, I don't know what in the world's going on, I don't recognize him anymore. And 3 days later, she wrote back, she said, goodness gracious, he's talking better, he's more attentive, he's this, he's that. And so you can't think that the bump in the road that you're seeing or the failure of response that you're seeing is going to be permanent. It's just what they're going through, because you get a system turned on, their bodies want to work on it. You get conductance happening, and they're going to work on it.
So Can we just really quickly, what, Ron, go ahead.
I was going to say, so what was the end of that sentence? If you don't have high ground current and the ground tests 0 or negligible, then it could be a useful tool. Because the
I would
Earth's
say it
frequency,
is a useful
Schumann
tool.
resonance, I mean, the whole...
It is a useful tool, and you want to be sure you get good ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Because getting electrons into the body to satisfy the free radicals, bring down the cortisol, whatever it is that
Exactly.
it provides, you know.
And basically, your body stops being a sink for the problem and starts being a, you gave it somewhere else to go because it found you. I have
Right.
9 or 10, 12 circuits in my house that put an enormous electrical burden on my body. I turn them off every night because it's too expensive to pay the guy to come out and give me a remote control for it. Or give me the ones that I really want, is I want the breakers that when you turn off the power over here, there's nothing in the line because it turns the breaker off.
Demand switch.
Those are, to me, the most ideal, but I
Right.
can't afford it.
And I believe what we were talking about with Larry at lunch was that, he speaks of the electrical, the wiring in the room, that induced AC current, if you will. It sounds so loud from here.
No, we need to hear.
That was some concerns of others, and actually Larry put that to rest where he was saying that was minimal, or it couldn't even be measured. The comment was, well, the AC current radiating in the room through the walls, the wiring, and then you bring that earthing product onto the mattress, and then the body becomes the path of least resistance, and it's easier to get to ground. He said, no, it's not actually true.
I think the important thing is that the barefoot does not replace the need to make sure that none of the circuits are putting electronics on you at night. So, in other words, by my putting one on my bed at my house, that doesn't negate me turning off my 12 circuits.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's the thing that you really want to be sure about, is that you've got to get which circuits are doing the problem, get those circuits turned off at night. In my house, I leave them off all the time.
Right.
But never even turn them on, and I got a huge house,
But if
except
you-
half of it's dark.
I don't know. But if you left them on, you wouldn't be doing yourself harm with the earthing product.
Well, you would,
Repeat that question, and then we're done.
I think the situation is I'm a perfectionist, and I'm looking for the optimal thing. And in my opinion, you should not only turn off those circuits and use that would be the best alternative. But if you didn't turn your circuits off, this would be the next best alternative, okay?
Right.
So, in any event,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you.